What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. The market had an absolutely crazy day today with Powell and then the FOMC. In today's video, basically, we're going to be explaining what happened with the FOMC today and some important news and some solid plays to watch for the rest of the week. Towards the end of the video, we have a $3.5 million options trade for Friday, so make sure you guys stick around for that. Other than that, Tom, let's get right into today's video.
Yeah, we've all been waiting for this FOMC meeting and the press conference with Powell today, and he really came out and honestly made the market really start to tank off at the beginning because they started talking about inflation being a little bit worse. And CNBC reports that the Federal Reserve considerably raises its expectations for inflation this year and brought forward the time frame on when it will raise the next interest rates. And however, the central bank gave no indication as to when it will begin cutting back on its aggressive bond buying program, though Fed Chairman Powell acknowledged that officials discussed that issue at the meeting. So they didn't really say anything too much about it, but they were kind of discussing their bond buying program, and they might change it in the future, but not for right now. But in his quotes, Powell says, "You can think of this meeting that we had as the talking about meeting." And yes, those are his exact words. And then he says, thinking about, he says that it's also kind of like a thinking about raising interest rates. So, they're talking about raising rates, and they did indicate that rate hikes could come as soon as 2023. After just a couple months ago in March, they said that there would be no increases until at least 2024. So it seems like that they're changing their tone a little bit, and they're talking about inflation getting slightly worse, and it's going to be a little bit worse than they expected, but they're still kind of optimistic. They still have some optimism about the overall market, and we can see how the market really tanked off in the beginning, but then kind of just the SPY, at least anyways, bounced off that 420 support and just exploded right back to the upside. And we're honestly all the way back up to around 422, which is still pretty good. We're still red on the day, but that's a pretty good recovery actually.
For sure. So, guys, I want to know what you guys think about inflation in the comments down below. Do you think inflation will be transitory, or do you think high inflation is here to stay? Some people make the argument that, like the Fed's going to take care of it and inflation will, lower. While some people say, too much money was printed and, there's a big risk for high inflation. So I want to know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. But Tom, that's definitely some interesting information with the FOMC today. And I just, it's so hard to trade the markets on these types of days. Like, the SPY when it first opened up, or actually, let's look at the QQQ because that's an even better example. The QQQ opened up and it was running up pretty early in the morning, and then it just came crashing down and it came basically right back up. So there's just a lot of volatility with FOMC, and it makes the market a little bit harder to trade, to say the least. But Tom, I heard that there was some news with these chip maker stocks.
Yeah, the Intel CEO actually came out with some good news today, and not really specifically about Intel itself, but just about the overall semiconductor sector. But the Intel CEO, or CNBC reports that the Intel CEO sees 10 good years in quotations. So he said 10 good years of chip industry growth. And in his words, he says, "We believe the world is in a very expansionary period." And then he also says that he predicts 10 good years in front of us because the world is becoming more digital, and everything digital needs semiconductors. And that is kind of true. Everything has chips and semiconductors in them. And he makes a good point there. So everything futuristic will pretty much be using these. And going forward, Intel stock specifically isn't looking the best in the past year, but he's pretty much saying over the next 10 years, we'll see pretty good movement. And honestly, Intel is down quite a bit from its highs. So I think it's at a good time to pick it up, but it could keep going down in the short term. But some other ones that will probably benefit even more would be AMD, which is also down, and then NVDA, which is flying up into their split in July. But just keep in mind that like Apple and Tesla, they flew up into their split and then crash a little bit right after it. So just keep that in mind, but it might keep flying up into that split. Who knows how high this could go? It's already above $700.
Sounds good. So I know you gave a little brief overview of Intel's chart, but do you have any major levels on Intel, any major supports or resistances or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's some huge supports on Intel. I have a huge one down here around 53.50. That's going to be a big level on them. They've hit that one quite a few times in the past. They are at a pretty big one right now, sitting right around $58. That also poses a huge one in the past. And if they can start to like fill this gap back to the upside up towards like 62.50, I think we'll start to see some pretty good moves out of Intel and out of some of the other chip makers too. But Intel has been getting beaten down kind of by the competition like AMD and NVIDIA. So they haven't had the best looking chart over the past few years, but maybe they'll innovate and come out with some new chips. And, him saying that they'll have 10 good years of growth sounds like a pretty good thing to me. So hopefully his like revelation comes true and Intel can just kind of keep going up, but they are kind of holding some trend lines going to the upside too. I will make this one blue just so everybody can see it really quick. But this blue trend line is also being hit quite a few times on the way up. So hopefully they can just hold where they are and possibly hold that 53.50 to 54 support and then go back up. But, these chip makers have been honestly going down over the past month. Like even AMD has been kind of flattened down over the past month. So hopefully we start to see some growth out of that sector.
Sounds good. So, Tom, let's check out that QQQ intraday chart, and then let's highlight this bot play today. So, the bot called out QQQ 341 strike puts at around $200 each, and they ran all the way up to $461 each. The bot had an amazing call out. You could see it. It called it out at around, you could say, noon today. Eastern time. If you guys want to trade with the bot and Tom and I every single day, you can click the first link in the description down below for about $40 off. We do have a coupon running, but now let's get right into the member of the day and then the momentum plays. With today's member of the day, we have I'm Fierce 13. Thank you so much for being a great positive member. Thank you so much for all of your positivity. One, in the Discord chat, but also two, on YouTube. Your comments are really great, and just thank you for that. But now let's get right into the momentum plays. And with the first one, we have Enphase.
Yeah, and with Enphase, they're actually going to be pretty good for tomorrow. Make them break up above 154.06 or just at that high of 154.
All right, with the next one, we have WFC, a bank stock.
Yeah, the banks actually rocketed up today, which I was going to talk about a little bit later, but they go ahead and make them break out above $46.
All right, and then with the last one, we have CHWY.
CHWI Chewy also had a great day today. They're actually up a lot, like around close, but make them break out above 77.30.
Sounds good. So we are watching these three plays for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels Tom listed. But now let's get right into the $3.5 million options trade for this Friday. We are looking at the Boeing $247.50 calls, and I'm definitely leaning towards the smart money shorting these calls, meaning that they want Boeing below $247.50. And I say that because, the options have 2 days left of time in their expiration, you could say. And also they're kind of far out of the money. And then Boeing had a pretty bad day today, so I'm definitely leaning towards some sort of short call, probably a covered call.
Yeah, I could see that as well. And, with Boeing, they're in a pretty bad setup right now on the daily. They're really failing to break out above that 260 resistance. And then also you can see back here between like April and May here, you can see how like in the month of April, Boeing had a high around 260 and then ended up posting a slightly lower high and falling down. And now we're kind of seeing that again, right here. They posted a high up around like 259, 260. And now they had a little bit of like a lower high again, and they're coming down. And we might just start to see a little bit of a sell-off, kind of like we saw on like April 16th, 19th, and 20th. We might start to see that kind of like happen again here, maybe back down to like that 230 support. So I'm definitely with it. I think that it could be going down over the next like couple of weeks. And I think that would be pretty smart, especially if it was a covered call.
All right, well, let's get right into the comments from the previous episode. And with the first comment, we have Hunter M saying, can you do a video about JMIA? Thanks for the information. So let's check out JMIA right now, Tom. We can see today it had a pretty good day, up around 2%. It is making higher lows, which is awesome. I think they're in a great sector. Overall, I think they look pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty decent. And like you said, the sector is going to be really good. For the longer term, I like it. I think it'll move pretty well. But in the shorter term, there could be some obviously movement to the downside. Seems like they did touch a pretty solid resistance up here where they kind of double topped around 33.50. So just keep looking out for that as we start to go back up. But it seems like a pretty good stock. It's also moving up today, right around that support around like 27.30. And if we go look at the low, it got like pretty close to there. So I think it could start to go up tomorrow or possibly over the next few days off of that support, but we'll just have to see what happens. But I really like it for the longer term.
All right, and then we have Outlaw saying, "Hey, Mike and Tom, thank you for all your hard work. How low do you think AMD will go?" And then he mentioned $70. So $70 is pretty unlikely, in my opinion, unless we have some sort of like crazy catalyst. It's possible, but just unlikely. Right now, their major support is like right at 75, or you could even say like 74. That's a realistic level, in my opinion. But yeah, Tom, do you have any like different levels or thoughts? Like, do you think we're gonna break below 75, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't. I think that we might start to see some good movement, and who knows? Maybe the Intel CEO's words today will help AMD in that sector kind of pop up over the next few days. But I think AMD will kind of hold its ground and start to go up. Like you said, I think testing 74 or 75 will be a really good test of that support there. If it does break below that, then I think it'll hit 70. But personally, I don't think it'll break below that. And it's just been kind of consolidating here for the past month. And, I would think that if it was going to go down, it would have kind of went down while it was consolidating, but it actually held its ground pretty nicely. And if we start to see a break out of these SMAs and out of this resistance around like $83, I think we'll see a pretty big move back to the upside. And, just the overall sector is kind of due to go up, and NVIDIA is kind of flying up. So it might drag some of these other ones like up with it, especially AMD, which is like a direct competitor of NVIDIA.
Sounds good. And then we have Matthew and a lot of others talking about TRCH. Matthew said TRCH will explode. Buy the dip. It has a set squeeze date. Shorts have to cover by merger. People have to hold for dividend. Perfect scenario. So let's check out TRCH. It is popping up, Tom. Like, I know we talked about it on the live stream today, and it was exploding up. It is making higher highs, and there's a lot of volume flowing into it. It has that momentum. I definitely wouldn't bet against it right now. Do you have any thoughts or levels on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a pretty good support around $6. Honestly, it came down today, kind of rode that 100 SMA and bounced off of like $5.30, somewhere like right around there. I think it's looking pretty good though. I think that as we go up tomorrow, definitely make it break 676. But I know we were talking about this, and I didn't really expect it to make that kind of move that it had today again. After looking at it yesterday, I did not think that we would see this type of momentum continue. So with it flying up today, I think that it might continue up. We'll just have to see. But it's definitely a little bit risky for me. I personally would not trade it, but I think that there is a lot of potential behind it. It just depends if it can break that high or not.
Alrighty, and then we have with the next question, we have N saying thoughts on DraftKings. So I love this stock. They got hit with that Hindenburg report yesterday. I think they're going to do just fine. I think it's awesome with the way they are recovering from that report. I really like them for the long term. Of course, anything can happen in the short term with the market being as volatile as it is, and then plus any crazy catalyst that we see with this stock and with the short report. So, simple summary: I like it for the long term, but for the short term, anything can happen.
Yeah, I think that anything could happen too. And that Hindenburg thing is terrible, especially like whenever you're looking at, a stock like DraftKings, but it really held its ground. And I think today it kind of like tried to move a little bit lower, and it also held today. So I think it's honestly looking pretty decent. And I don't think that this is going to really hurt the stock in the longer run. Maybe Hindenburg just wanted to get the stock to fall so they could actually exit their short position. I mean, who knows? Look at how much volume came in yesterday on that drop. I mean, it's almost, I'm trying to look at the chart really specifically, but it seems like that's the most voluminous day that DraftKings has had since IPO. So honestly, they might have tried to exit something there. Who knows? But I think that it will recover back up though over the next few months. And it's hard to trust these hedge funds. I mean, everybody's always talking bad about the hedge funds, and they're always trying to manipulate the market. So I'm not even going to pay attention to that news, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much manipulation that goes on. I mean, let's keep in mind that Hindenburg has a short position on DraftKings. So they want the stock to fall. And, like you said, Tom, like, who knows? They might actually really like the stock and use this as a catalyst to pick up shares. Who knows for sure. But either way, in my opinion, they're a solid company. They have solid fundamentals, and I like them for the long term. And then we have I'm Fierce saying Airbnb was another great bot call out. Love the bots in the live morning show. Well, thank you so much, I'm Fierce. If you guys want to trade with the bots and Tom and I every single day, you can click the first link in the description down below and save $40. Daily day trades, swing trades. We have tons of different bots that are pretty awesome. So definitely check it out. You can cancel it anytime. But Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or anything you're watching for tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely still watching AMD. I'm definitely going to have my eye on Intel now that the CEO came out and said that about the semiconductors. Of course, I'm still going to be watching SPY, which was moving like crazy today. If it starts to really tank off to the downside, I think that'll be a, pretty unfortunate scenario. But the Fed did kind of talk about inflation being a little bit worse than they thought. And they're kind of like moving dates up now and stuff like that. And who knows, at the next meeting, they might have to really adjust some of the stuff that they're doing. But he did say that they were kind of keeping it the same for now, though. So we'll just have to see how it ends up playing out, because today was a very tough day to kind of tell what the market was doing. It really initially fell off. It came right back up. So it's honestly like right in the middle still to just very slightly down. So I would say that it has a slightly bearish effect on the market as of right now, but who knows, in the morning we might gap up to 425. Nobody ever knows. And every time we see stuff like this happen, the market usually tanks off and then it like just goes parabolic, just like we saw. So we'll just have to see how it ends up playing out. But personally, I would think that it would make it go down very slightly.
And guys, don't forget to let us know in the comments what you think about inflation. Do you think it's just going to be transitory, or do you think that, the market and the economy overall will have high inflation for the next couple of years? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm very curious to hear. And also, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. And then come join Tom and I live every single morning at market open on the new Stocked Up live channel. The link for that is in the description down below. And if you want to network with other traders, you can click the Discord link in the description down below. We have about like 13,000 other traders in the Discord. Basically, you can chat and network with other traders, and it's free. So definitely check it out. Other than that, thanks for watching.